That being said, I'd like to welcome everyone to our fourth annual Demco School Library Planner launch party. This is planner number 4. Every year I always say that I'm more and more excited about each planner, but I need to say that this one is my favorite. Organically, it grew into something that I'm really, really proud of, and it is made possible with the fabulous people right here, the fabulous people in our Facebook group, all library professionals, librarians across the nation, and our my mentor, my personal mentor, Heidi Green. So I want to thank you so much for that and all of the fabulous people at Demco. So I am very excited about this year. I'm going to tell you a few things about what are going on in my life right now because I am going to be planning with this planner in a different way this year. This year, I'm going to be an elementary school librarian, which I am very anxious about, very excited about. I've never, but excuse me, I've never been an elementary school librarian. I have worked in middle school as an English teacher, middle school library, and high school library, but I've never been elementary. So I'm trying to think of ways that I can excite my students about reading, incorporating technology, and just creating a wonderful community atmosphere in my elementary school. I know that elementary schools are different than middle school and high school, very different. So I'm going to be making mistakes this year. I'll be learning from my peers. I'll be learning from my colleagues, and I'm going to ask you all to help me, excuse me, to teach me and to tell me the fabulous things that you're doing, and hopefully I can modify them into my elementary school library program. So excited this year.
Excuse
So
me.
I'm
I
going to tell you that what I really like about this year's edition is the theme. I will tell you. I told Heidi I really wanted the cover to be about superheroes, so that's why it's got the graphic novel kind of look. But I also wanted it that it would celebrate all of you. I wanted teachers, I wanted administrators, I wanted anyone seeing you holding up your planner, knowing exactly what you do, because I know constantly we're trying to explain all the fabulous things that are going on in the library, what we do, and it can be exhausting. I wanted very clearly people to know all the fabulous things that you're doing. So that's why we went with the superhero theme this year. You'll see that inside the graphics are very superhero themed. Excuse me. We have up top these little affirmations. I am supportive, my win for the week, and then some little cheers on the bottom for you. So I'm very excited about that. I will be using the planner this year as an elementary school librarian, which is very different for me. I've already put in the columns in the summer because I do work in the summer, starting planning and my ideas, and I already did my little checkpoints. Was for July, things that I had to do at home. I will begin using this. And you know what the funny thing is? I'm looking at these give a tries, and I'm like, oh, I could use that. Well, no, no kidding, because I made that. But sometimes I come up with ideas and I don't get to use them all the time. And now I'm like, oh, I could really use a lot of these ideas. So that's being said, this is my favorite part of the planner this year. The fact that it is about superheroes, it is about super libraries, super librarians. And again, look at the back. I don't know if you notice it, but there is a little duck to celebrate my sister. I love these little hidden mysteries, the little hidden ducks throughout the book. So that's what I want to share with you today. We are going to hear from some power users and some librarians who are in the planner, and we are going to have a raffle. We're going to spin the wheel, and you're going to see some really exciting products that Demco has, and one that is inspired by our cover. All righty. So we're going to
you
start
have a
with.
couple raised hands if you want to take a look.
Oh, a couple of raised hands. Yes,
And
we're
then,
actually going to start with Hilda. Hilda,
oh,
because
okay. I raised
Hilda
my
needs.
hand.
because I couldn't be seen and I figured it all out. Thank you.
Oh, awesome, Hilda. So, Hilda, we're starting off with Hilda today because she's a very busy person. But she did squeeze us in today because she knows how important libraries are and librarians. So, I want to give it to you, Hilda. Thank you for joining us today. What would you like to share with us today? What are your words of wisdom?
Okay, words of wisdom out of long experience. Um, Librarians make big plans, whether we're doing a renovation, having an author visit, or whatever. They are quite involved. And particularly when you're taking it on for the first time, but I something to do all the time is a technique I developed and used particularly during my two library renovation projects in different schools. And I call it telescoping, periscoping, and microscoping.
Hmm.
Okay, telescoping is when you look to the end of the project and know what you want to achieve and how you're going to assess it. And then before you panic, you start microscoping it and breaking it down into smaller tasks, starting with whatever the first one is. And then you move along on that. And every so often, you pop up the periscope to look and see what's coming ahead. And you use that, excuse me, it's a phone call coming in, which uh,
I told you Hilda's very busy.
yes, I told you it's really ridiculous. The phone, I do a periscope to make sure I haven't gotten skipped a step I need to prepare for something that's coming up. And as soon as I've checked that, down goes the periscope, and back I go back to microscoping.
I love that idea, and I really love that idea for all teachers, not just librarians. And I even love that idea for students for teaching executive functioning and looking at the bigger picture and getting smaller and smaller granular. I love that idea, Hilda.
It's my version of how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
I agree, but I love that it's very, I see an infographic in my mind and I see it really helping me this year and helping other librarians. And I guess, again, I love when things help students as well.
Yes, everything. Matter of fact, the new book I'm writing, um, the second community I discussed, the first community is you and yourself. But the second community, we have three communities within ourselves, the school community and the outside community. And the first part of the school community is students, teachers, and administrators. So, and by the way, Kristina is writing the forward to it. So it's one of those inbred things around here. But yes, it's been a helpful thing for everything I have done. It keeps me from panicking.
I like that. And it's also a great planning technique, a really great self-care technique, and habit forming technique.
Once you see how it works, you're never going to be without it again.
Rachel would like you to repeat your scope order again, if you don't mind. So which scope do you look at first?
Oh, me, I'm Hilda. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The first scope is the telescope. What's the end? What do I really want to achieve? How am I going to assess whether it was worth all the effort?
Hmm.
And then I go right down to microscoping because otherwise I'm going to panic. And just to be sure I don't blow it, there is the periscope.
I love that. That's really great. Fantastic. Um, so your tip in here, I'm actually gonna just
I
going
can
to,
do that too. Yes.
yeah, I'm going to turn to that page so I can follow along with you. Again, if you have used the planner, you know that we have a nice tip table of contents, and Hilda
I know
is,
what I did for that one. I'll tell you, I can discuss it briefly.
yeah, go right ahead.
It relates to the outside community that I mentioned before, in a way. The outside community includes, well, in the school, it's your administrators. So it's the second community. And we need to be sure that we don't forget them because they are the source of us getting everything we want and need, whether budget, whatever. And the first thing to know is their language. We all have a language. Librarians speak our language. Teachers speak theirs, and administrators have theirs. And it's really imperative that we know what they are reading, what words they are using, what they are seeking. So I make a point specifically of being a member of ASCD. ISTE has one purpose, but ASCD has to do with the administrators. And I get their journal and I read it to know what the hell is going on. I do it online and I have it in print because this tells me what they want. And if you want to get something from the principal, or even the superintendent of schools, and I've done that too, you need to address their wants and needs. And you find out those from what they are reading.
That is a really great piece of advice, especially to new school librarians who maybe have not had the opportunity yet to navigate the bigger the bigger community. Even if you are a teacher, if you are a classroom teachers, yes, they interact with principals and administrators, but not on the scale that school librarians do.
And then on the vital scale, a teacher doesn't come in for a budget increase. A teacher doesn't, a teacher doesn't come in to have the principal allow an author visit.
Yes, libraries and librarians affect more of the school community than a classroom teacher. And I definitely learned that when I stepped out of the English classroom. And that was one of the reasons I did, because I really wanted to be part of the larger community. Thank you so much, Hilda, for your words of wisdom. You are fabulous. And yes, I am writing the foreword to Hilda's brand new book, and I'm very excited about it. And I am honored and privileged that Hilda reached out to me. So
Well,
thank you, Hilda.
I'm honored and privileged that Kristina said yes. She is an amazing librarian and she's going to be fantastic at the elementary level. And I know that because I did it in reverse. I started out as an elementary librarian and didn't know anything. And fortunately, my teachers helped me learn what I needed. And then I grew and went a little bit beyond what they thought they needed and showed them there was still more. And you're starting knowing, you also know where your students need to end up.
That's true. That's true. I do have that advantage. So thank you so much,
You're
Hilda.
welcome and uh, enjoy her new book.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye.
Okay. We're gonna jump now to Minda. Minda, how are you today? How are you? How are you doing? What are you excited about the new school year? What's your tip? What would you like to share? I'm very excited for you to share all your fabulous ideas with our crew today.
And the budget will be. So obviously I'm at school and we're in our last day before students come in. So you're hearing an announcement from the principals that somebody has brought in food. Because it's lunchtime. As you said, this is my first year as an elementary librarian. I've actually had all four of the planners now. My first year having the planner, I was a middle school librarian, and that was my first position as a librarian. I had no idea what I was doing. Still don't, but hey, whatever. And the last 2 years, I've actually been using the planner as a sped teacher. So, it took me a while to get back into a library position, because they're hard to get where I am. So there's that. So I guess the part that I want to talk about that I'm using the most right now is the book fair planning page. As you can see, I've already kind of got check marks off because my book fair is at the end of the month. And I'm trying to get ready for everything to happen. And students aren't even here yet. And I've already had started sending out like notices that, hey, this is coming up and all that sort of stuff. So I've been using this a lot. The other thing that I've done is so I put my tabs up at the top instead of across the sides because of I've carried around in my backpack and I don't like my tabs to get bent and stuff. So I keep it across the top. Um, so let's see if I can find my page that I just did. Um,
I have never thought of doing that.
I did this
I love
this
that
morning.
idea.
So this is like the week at a glance kind of thing. And I took washi washi paper tape and sectioned off each of my days because I have a fixed schedule. And so each grade level is a different section of my planner. And ignore the fact that I did dogs and pumpkins. That's just my favorite things. So that was the paper I had and I went with it. So I did it all across the whole thing just so that I could have my lesson plans in one place so that if anybody ever came in, I could just show them my planner and that's my day at a glance. So that's how I'm using my planner so far. I'm still kind of working my way through it and making plans and putting in like all of my days that were off and um, things like that. So I'm still kind of getting my bearings here, especially since I'm one of those that also coming into this position, they renovated the library over the summer and I got new carpet. So I was paid for 3 weeks over the summer to come in and put all the books back on the shelf. So there's a lot going on. And I took all the decorations down and redecorated. So everything is superhero themed too.
I see
So
that behind you. I love those.
I did that with a ladder and hot glue.
You want a really good hack? I'm going to tell you a really good hack. You take some painter's tape and put that on the wall,
That's
and
it, what we did.
right, and then you hot glue whatever you want, so you could easily take it off afterwards and not leave any residue from the hot glue.
Yes, and it works perfectly because they did it all up and down the hallway too. So that is my planner, like what I've done so far, getting ready for the school year because kids come back tomorrow. Um, so my tip that I have in on page 206 for those following along. So I'm a recent graduate. I got my MLIS in 22 and I've still been in grad school. So I'm now a PhD student and we'll finish. I actually start my dissertation in this month. So this is gonna be fun. But I'm a big into studying banned books and preparing for challenges and things like that. So my tip is talking about being ready for the beforehand. So what to have in place already. So making sure that your school or your district has a challenge and reconsideration policy. Usually those policies need to also include all the forms involved. So what do parents need to fill out when they're or community members, whoever is challenging the book? Um, the procedures, what is the timeline? All of those sort of things are important for not just the community members to know, but for us as librarians because we're usually the ones having to start that process. So and we have to advocate for ourselves because it's possible that admin may not know what those procedures and policies are, even though they should be involved. So that is kind of my tip in here. Is it's mainly just saying that we need to make sure that we're aware. And if your policy is outdated, be sure that you're one of the ones, talking about, hey, we need to update this and what needs to go into it when you update. So, and of course, ALA has a reconsideration challenge policy toolkit that is available to all of us to go in and help with making sure that we have what we need, because they have a specific section for school librarians.
I love your tip, Minda, because when we go to library school, we are inundated with so much information. And then we go on social media, we go on Facebook, we go on whatever we're gonna do, TikTok, Instagram, we get all these ideas. And I become overwhelmed. I don't know about you, but I get like overwhelmed. And I really like having these tips in the back, and especially yours to remind us about the book selection policy, or actually, I would say, and reconsideration. I would say all resources, not just books, um, just to remind us. Because going through the motions of every day and doing all the work that we do, there are a lot of pots boiling. And sometimes we may see a pot boiling over and we don't get there in time. So that's why I really love that, just that gentle reminder that people need to do this, especially someone who's brand new, who's never had to come up against anything like this before, or has inherited a library that has no reconsideration or selection policy. There are some out there. So thank you so much
My
for that
first
reminder.
position was actually one of those. They
Mm.
had one, but it was from 2008. So it had not been updated at all. So that was one of the things that, um, and even though we had one, the admin ignored it. So um, this is more of a from experience kind of um, tip, I guess.
I hear you. And thank you so much for being with us from since the very beginning when our little planner baby was born.
I did. The funny part was, is I didn't even know it was the first year. I thought it was like always a thing when I got it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to help me.
Well, you were there since the beginning, and I can't thank you enough.
I have enjoyed every moment of it, and I will continue to be here whenever anybody needs me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have other people in the group. I see other people jumping in too, other planner librarians. Would someone else like to speak? I'll take a hand all right, I see Katie's hand. Awesome. Hey, Katie.
Hey, good morning. So happy to be part of this again. It's interesting. I love that we're always given the option to flip around and the cover we're totally highlighting. I'm trying to flip to my cover real quick. Sorry. I was looking at something else because it was so amazing listening to the last tips. Like, acknowledging we do everything. So also the tips in the back, they're not just like book centric. Like sometimes it's real easy to get into that, but we're like all over the place. So this time, all over the place in a good way. Like it's just, we are all the things. So my tip is more with that mindfulness and helping all of that balance. But I also wanted to share something that I leverage in it. So I'm going to be more mindful to walk around with my planner like this. Usually my planner is like this. I've got it like even, I use a paper clip for like the week I'm currently on, and I'm there all the time. But if I'm like on my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't have my note thing, and maybe I'm the only one that does this. Like I don't flip backwards frequently. I'm like, okay, what's that next thing? And I'm going on it. So what I've done, and I'm going to do this in all the months. This just happens to be January. So they're the last week of January. My to-do list of like my things I'm trying to accomplish that week, I use that note section and I bullet journal style it. Now you can make it real pretty like we just saw, but like I ain't got those art skills. So I just do a little box that sometimes looks more like a circle, but it's a box there for me to check off. But I've already got this note for me to review page 94, because even if I just put like review to do, that wouldn't help me. So I've got 94, and if I flip back, 94 is where I made all the list of things I want to do in January. Okay, so starting there, it's like, but wait, that's not good enough. So then when I go forward into February, there at the beginning of that next month, I already have this notation. Hey, you that forgets things because you're doing a million things for other people, go back to January's, which is page 94, see what didn't get done that is still important to me. So, combination of that, like I set the side, I have my notes there of what I'm working on that week, but then I'll use the bottom section of my Friday to like remind me of those other things. So now I'm looking at that and I can just go ahead and easily put that to the top of my next week. So it's there for me. So if you're someone that doesn't tend to flip backwards, you had all these great intentions, like here's those reminders with the exact page. That's where it is to go back to.
So I will tell you, Katie, what I do is I will take the page, and I will then fold it over. So all of these are pages are folded, so I always see my to-do, and when that to-do is done, then I'll go to the next to-do. So that's what I do. I kind of fold mine over every time.
Yeah, so doing like whatever works for you. I don't know if it's because I'm older than the rest of y'all. Like, just I don't know, the whole like bending of the pages, like it hurts my heart sometimes. And I know it doesn't make sense. Like, you do you. Just like I'm a big fan of DNF for everyone else but me. Like, totally do that. And okay, one more thing, because I feel like we need these reminders. And that page that has your goals and your meetings and whatnot. I love that. But where it says reflection, I add another word because we do not do this enough. Celebrations. So I want to make sure that's
Oh,
really, really clear that we are celebrating our good stuff. And when I look at celebrating, I try to do it like threefold. So I'm at the ready for any admin meeting. So what's my celebration? Like with basic reading literacy, because that's a thing. And then what's a celebration with student interactions that I'm doing? And also, what are my celebrations with my teacher interactions? So I'm ready with all of those different buckets ready to go when I go into any meeting, because every meeting we have an agenda, right? We got stuff we want that hasn't been done. But I have these celebrations to go ahead and remind them, yeah, I'm doing this. That makes you look good too for me.
I am actually going to change this for next year. I'm listening to you. Instead of reflection, I'm going to rewrite reflect and celebrate. Are you into
And
that?
I want some like, ooh, like confetti for all of us.
Yes, yes. I like again. I'm always listening. I like that. Love that. Reflect and celebrate. Perfect.
Cool, cool. Thank
Love,
you.
love, love. And as I'm thinking I'm listening to you, and I was listening to Hilda about speaking to administrators and advocacy. I think I need to have a page about that. There are tips, but I think I need to have like a how to talk to administrator quick tip sheet.
That would be great. Thinking about like, hearing library school get all of this stuff at us. Well, I run a program and I have us do like, that 30-second pitch when someone's like, well, what do you really do? Like, because honey, I'm not running your copies for you. I know some of us still do that, but like that's not what I went to school for. So, but then you go on and do 50,000 other things, and do you really still have that in your forefront? And I was just reflecting on that. Have I revised my 30-second pitch for when I have the new admin? Because that's that revolving door, and I feel like we're always training our admin of what we do. So, yeah, I love that idea too. Yes, we should have a tip page about talking with admin.
Yeah, I think that's on my list now. I will put it in my plan. What I do is in the back of my planner, I write in my notes a list of things I'm going to change for next year. So that's going to be at the top of my list. This came from a suggestion in the planner group to add this page because some of you are waiting for your next planner. So we did add the calendar, the summer calendar for the following year. So that, and I'm going to quickly, I don't want to give it away to other people who haven't purchased a planner, but don't forget your coupons. They're in the back. I actually had someone say, I forgot the coupons. Don't forget them. All right. We have money off. We have bookmarks. We have stick together. So please, we're all bargain shoppers as librarians. Don't forget those don't forget those coupons. All right. Thank you so much, Katie, for that great advice. All right. Who'd like to go next? Who'd like to speak about your tip or about what you're doing for the new school year or what you're using the planner for?
Candace has her hand raised.
All right, Candace, go for it.
Hi there. Hi. Um, Nice to meet you. Christina, I love the planner. And I have to say that one of the most valuable parts of it is the page that we were just talking about, the goals, the collaborations. I make notes every month so that when I'm ready to work on advocacy or work on my evaluation stuff, I can't go back and remember through the year, but I can look at that page. It's a quick through. I go, okay, yeah, I'm just looking at October of last year with third grade. Third grade was doing nonfiction, so I pulled a bunch of stuff, did a few lessons with them. I remembered that. I can put that in my evaluation paperwork with my team. Future planning. I also know that maybe this October they might be doing the same thing. So I'll reach out to them when we go back to school and say, hey, are you guys going to be doing that nonfiction unit again this October? I've got some new things I want to add to it with you. And it just kind of kickstarts that conversation for future planning. Because you know how it is. It's like pulling teeth to get out there and find out what teachers are doing. So this has been a real help for that as well. And the reflection section, I love the idea of celebrating, but I just looked down at my reflection for last October and I'm going, okay, I had the firefighters come in. Let's talk about having them come in the spring for wildfire cleanup. I live in Washington State, so this is having the firefighters come and talk to the kids about that stuff's important. So, and special programming and displays. I always write down what my displays were for each month so I can go back and say, oh, do I want to use that again this year? Or do I want to change it up a bit? So I've already used last year's planner to put down things for future plans for this coming year, and it's filling in nicely already. So I thank you for that. You're keeping me on task.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't have the privilege this year because I am going to elementary, but I know that it's the second year is really going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And this curriculum mapping page, that might also help you too. I don't know any of the curriculum for elementary. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I made smaller boxes this year because people wanted smaller boxes and they didn't need the 2 pages, and I'm fine with that. I will either break them up by grade or by month or whatever, but I need a place for curriculum because I really don't know any of it. The only thing
Right.
is a butterfly life cycle. That's all I know. And I don't even know where
Yeah.
that goes on here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be filling this even more up this year. And that page is how it really started. That's my favorite page of
Mm-hmm.
all those things because we do so much that we forget. And I
Yes.
see these awesome end of the year reports come June, May, June, July. But how did it get there every month? We do so
Yes.
much that we forget.
Yes. And now that I've kind of each month I pull reports from Destiny, we use Destiny saying, okay, how many books were checked out this month, how many, and I post that on my bulletin board outside my door so that everybody sees, wow, we checked out this many books. These were the top 10 books. And so that kind of helps keep me on track as far as that goes as well, because I've got it right here in my planner already.
You know what? I think we always, people say, well, years ago, I didn't know what a library was.
Mm-hmm.
People think of like the old school library. You know what? I think librarians and libraries have always been doing this, but we just didn't show it.
Yes,
I
yes.
think
And
that's what it is. We did not
I,
show it. We hid it behind the curtain.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of us are fighting for our lives our careers, right? Because libraries tend to be one of the first things to be cut. And this page here is such a great piece of advocacy for that. I mean, I see my superintendent and I go, "Hey, check this out." I mean, I really push it. I've been around for a while, so I can do that. I don't have any problem walking up and saying things like that, but this has just been so helpful to really organize those pieces for me. And I take care of our school's social media. So I'll pop in something from this page, a couple times a month on our social media page to make sure that it's out there to the community as well.
That's smart. I like that. Librarians running the social media pages. Then you know that your story is told.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And well, what it started out is that I complained about something on the social media page, and as soon as you complain, they hand it to you. But it's been great for me because I take care of that in our website, and I am always putting things out there about what's happening in the library.
That is a smart tip.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I think I might have to tap you for next year to write that tip.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, it's been phenomenal. And then you'll see families and they know what's going on. They know that, oh, wow, we saw that the kids were doing this in the library, or oh, you're growing salmon in the library. That's so cool. And so it's really fun. It's fun to get that out there. And it's been because we don't do weekly newsletters home like the classroom teachers do. So how do you get that out?
Yeah. So Rachel commented, tip of the day, complain and they hand it to you.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly it. And I've learned that the hard way. That wasn't the only thing I complained about.
But that could work. Like, and like you said, it worked to your advantage in this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I did the same thing with the front cases by the door. I said, "Wow, why are we leaving the same thing in there?" And so now I do the monthly display. But that's cool because I can put books in there and yeah, it's been fun. So yeah,
And do you use
complaining,
a
you get it.
calendar? Do you use the
Oh yeah.
calendar for that?
Yep,
Yeah.
I use my calendar for those displays as well. Yeah, so May the 4th, I do a whole Star Wars display in there with the books and different ephemia, and it's been fun. It's a lot of fun to get that out there. And it always says, go to the library if you want more of this,
I
right
love
by
it.
the front door.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because that's where the parents come in.
Yes, exactly.
They
Exactly.
may not make
And I have a QR code right by the front door for my catalog and our Facebook page so that parents can come in, hit the QR code, and they'll be immediately onto the catalog or the Facebook page.
awesome. Candace, I'm officially inviting you to be part of the team
Oh,
because this
thank you.
tip needs to be, yeah, this tip is it needs to be told because we always think about advocacy and getting our story told, but then how do you practically do that if you don't have, the ability you think
Hmm.
you can do one of these, you do the website like you said,
Hmm.
um, or the social media and like take over the front door, the building bulletin boards in the front,
Oh
front and
yeah,
center.
exactly. Exactly. And we're doing popsicles on the playground for open house. I'm elementary. I'm putting a story walk on the fence, and at the very end of it is that great QR code, and I'll be taking pictures of everybody reading the story walk as they're eating their popsicles, and that's kind of the start of it all.
Awesome. You know what? You gave me a great idea, Candace. If in the chat,
Hmm.
if you'd like to put your social media handles of any social media that you're using, if you would like, if you're open to sharing anything, please put your social media into the chat so other people can follow you and connect with you and get fabulous ideas.
Okay. Yeah,
All
sure.
right? Go right in the
Hmm.
chat.
Okay.
Okay. So who'd like to go next after Candace? I see lots of other people here. How about Steve? I see Steve. Steve, you feel like speaking today? I know you've got lots to say. And I just read something recently with your name on it, but I can't say what it is yet. But I'm very proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a, particular
Title?
publication that might be coming out sometime?
Yes. If we're allowed to speak about that, you can. If not, we'll keep it under the wraps.
Might as well. Why not?
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I always love getting to share, and this planner is a great way to share. But I also happen to be sharing this year in a book called Radical School Librarianship. It's coming out from Fawcett. They're currently pre-ordering 40% off. So if you're looking for something to add to your professional collection, there's information from school librarians from all around the world, kind of giving ideas on what we should be thinking about as we head into a sort of a new era of school librarianship. And my section is about why we should all be Luddites. So it's not a bad word. It's actually a good word. So, but when it comes to, just getting out there and sharing stuff, I think this planner is such an amazing collection, and I am so I mean, I am honored to be part of having contributed to this great planner because I know that every person I have talked to who has seen this planner has gone, "Oh my gosh, I need that in my life." And every person who has gotten it has been, "I don't know how I lived without this before I had it." So it is such a wonderful chance for folks to be engaged and connected with all of the different people from all over. And I love how this year the tips are sort of grouped by category, sort of, and color coded, so it's easy to kind of see, oh, this is the section I want to be in. So yeah, it's fantastic. I am fortunate enough, not only did I get mine, but I got a second one, which we're going to be using as a gift promotion to get some folks into some PD because it is so handy and so wonderful. Yeah, I love the table of contents. And it was funny, I was at AASL recently and I went to the Demco booth to sign my tip page for some planners they were giving away, and I walked up and I was like, I hadn't actually received my physical copy at that point, so I wasn't sure. I knew I was in there somewhere, but I didn't know where. And I got into a race with one of the Demco booth folks trying to figure out what page I was on in the planner. So it was a fun little competition we had there, but he actually found it before I did. So kudos to him. But yeah, I just love it, and I am really glad to be able to contribute in whatever small way that I can to it. So thank you.
You are so, so welcome. Actually, I'm going to look on your tip camp. I'm going to look for you. Where are we on here? You are in censorship, intellectual freedom, and book challenges.
Yes.
Oh, that's a meaty topic.
Yeah, yeah. And one that I am afraid we're going to need more of in the future, but I think it's incredibly important that we kind of front load ourselves to prepare for that, and that's actually the idea of getting ready in advance. I have sort of stolen from Martha Hickson, who has had to face some challenges, and she actually has the idea of thinking of it like a fire drill. Like you prepare everything in advance. You don't wait until the fire happens and then hope that you can get out the door safely. You get everything in place, you figure out how you're going to do things, and then when it happens, you're prepared and you're ready. So hopefully some of the tips that I threw in there are things that people can, real soft, simple things that you can start to implement. Just thinking about the language we use when we talk about book challenges. Think about the language we use when we talk about just the books themselves, because a lot of times we talk about books being age appropriate. And I think both of those terms, both age and appropriate, are very problematic when we start kind of letting them have their own space and their own value, because what's good for one age is not necessarily what's good for a different age. And even within an age, you might have kids who are at very different developmental levels. We've got kids that are coming at us in at 12 years old who have had very different life experiences and therefore need very different sets of information. And so if we limit it by age, we're kind of hurting some of our students right away. And appropriate always struck me as the thing that's okay to talk about at the dinner table with grandma and grandpa. And unfortunately, or fortunately, or however we want to look at it, a lot of our students need information that we wouldn't probably talk about at the dinner table with grandma and grandpa. So when we start talking about age appropriate, we're automatically sort of pigeonholing and cutting off so much information that's vital for our students. So if we can start thinking about it as developmentally relevant instead, I think that really opens up our just the conversation itself and is a more appropriate way of discussing what's in a book. Because when it's developmentally relevant, we're talking about what our students need as opposed to what somebody else thinks is polite. So anyway, that's just something that a soapbox that I have stood on before and undoubtedly will again, because I think it's a really important, simple switch that we can make. So anyway, yeah.
Well, now you're making me think that a glossary page or a vocabulary page,
Mm,
because I hadn't thought about it that way. So maybe like alternative terms and why you would use those alternative terms.
yeah, yeah. Because it's such a small thing, but it changes the conversation immediately from a particular way one person might see something in their mind to a much more broad and inclusive concept of why we need different kinds of materials in our libraries.
Really, really interesting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and no, it's already, I could already feel a shift in my brain, and those are the terms that if we're not aware of them, like I was not aware of that, I need to understand that. I need to change because of that, and then I need to educate others and use that terminology
Mhm.
so they could also have that same shift.
And if you can get it into your policies, that's a major win because then you are immediately ending so many challenges. If it's not age appropriate in the policy, if it's developmentally relevant in the policy, all of a sudden you've got so much more cover than you had before. I love Katie McNamara threw in the comments that next year the plan will be 500 pages. So
Well, I will tell you, I at the first year, I did have a few complaints that it was too big and there was too much information.
you never have too
So
much information. We're librarians. We love
it
information.
was too much information. Again, I listen to all feedback. Um, some of the feedback I use, some feedback I have to see where it's coming from. And yes, I agree it could be a lot bigger, but I like the fact that it is consumable, it is small, it is little bites. I mean, there's so many things that we could discuss about every tip. Like a tip could become a chapter in a book, and chapters in books can become books. Like this, again, could be 500 pages. But I love the fact that now, if people don't know who you are, now they know who they are and who you are, and they can connect with you. But thank you for teaching me that today because I did not realize that. Thank you
Always
so
happy to
much.
share.
Yeah. Rachel, would you like to speak? Would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I'd love to. So my tip was really about advocating for the library's role in the building at large, in the community at large. And I talked more about, I think, what a lot of people already know, which is, making sure you go out and talk and how to link to the curriculum support special projects, et cetera. But I think what I didn't say that I've found to be super valuable and relevant and also really important to administration is particularly in elementary because teachers, everything is scheduled. Everybody's strapped for time. No one has enough time to hit all their standards. Be familiar with oh, thank you. Be familiar with all the standards, like all the ELA standards, the science, the social studies, the math, because then you can go to the teachers and you can say, hey, I know you have the new reading curriculum and you're not even able to get to social studies. What standard do you really need me to hit? Because in the library, it's so easy. It's so easy to cover whatever standard we need to cover and bring in and cover one of their standards too, whatever they need. And then they know that like the students are still getting that. They can say that they've hit that standard. You've done the lesson planning, and it just makes their life easier. And admin kind of breathes a sigh of relief because they know all the standards are getting hit, even with the crazy schedules. I mean, I know with our we're very structured in elementary school and everything is down to the minute. And so they just don't have the time. And sometimes while they value library, they still see it old school. You're reading aloud to the kids and you're helping them pick out a book, and they don't always necessarily see you as a co-teacher. It's something you really have to establish yourself as. And so knowing everybody's standards and really reaching out and saying, how can I help you cover this? What are you not hitting? What do you need me to help with? I can work it in. You tell me what you need. Like I do a notebook LM and I upload all the AASL standards and the ISTE standards and the Massachusetts School Library standards, and then all of the different Massachusetts standards so that like if they say they need me to hit a certain social studies or science standard, I can really quickly say, what library standard's going to go with that. And by having that notebook LM with all those resources right there, I mean, it just makes it super easy.
Now, I love Notebook LM. Really, like I'm obsessed with it, but not everyone knows about it. Can you give like a pitch about what Notebook LM is?
So I love this because one of the things we talk about a lot with AI in the library is the fact that, responsibility and ethical use, and the fact that you're just crawling the internet for information that could be highly biased and inaccurate. And what Notebook LM does is you're uploading the sources. So you are uploading the PDF or the website link to that page of standards, but you are giving the resources to the notebook. And then when you're asking your questions, it is only referencing those resources that you have instructed it to use. So you've basically already vetted the sources and you know that what you're getting is responsible and ethical and unbiased, and it's really what you're looking for. So, as a librarian, Notebook LM is kind of amazing, and it's just so incredibly helpful. And you can make all different notebooks, and you can have it do all different things. I also used it to we have no AI policy in our district. And so I uploaded lots of wonderful information about AI ethics and responsibility, also some like different models of AI policies in other districts, all that kind of stuff. I did all 50 resources that you're allowed to put in there, including our district plan, our current acceptable use policy, so on and so forth. And then said, hey, how could we do that? And I'm not going to take what it gives me and say, this is our new AI policy, this is what we should do. But it really kind of shows you the holes of where you're missing things. It's just, I don't know, I find it to be such a great resource tool because you're still doing the research, you're still finding the resources, you're still vetting the materials. And then, of course, you're vetting the output that it gives you, but you're not just relying on it to kind of scrape the internet willy-nilly and give you back something that you don't necessarily want to use.
And what I do love about Notebook LM, although it's a little bit strange, is the audio preview.
Yes,
They will
I
create a
love.
podcast. A lot of people don't know that. And they like I even teach classes where I'm like, explore Notebook LM, and many people miss the mark. There's that podcast feature, and it's like these two voices. And it always starts with, let's take a deep dive, right? Sound familiar? It's always, let's take a deep dive. And it's a podcast, so you can really upload. It's not going to cover everything, but you can upload things. And if you have a long commute, you can turn it into a podcast and you can listen to the information. And it is on this list of top 10 tools of AI, and it's adapted from Alyssa Malaspina, the AI school librarian.
Who's my page mate? She's my page
She
mate.
is. I love that too, when people are like, who am I on the page with? Yeah, so we have our AI tools. We added that this year because we need to have something like that. There are a lot more tools in this, but Alyssa has, vetted them, and these are her top 10. I'm sure, maybe some will change for next year, but so far these are some, and they're unique. They're pretty unique, so that is on the list.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for that transition to AI. Yes. I see we have Joyce Valenza with us, and she's going to follow you, Rachel. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being part of our team.
Hi, everybody. Rachel, I love the idea of using Notebook LM for that purpose. The idea of like searching across the various different standards where the language is different across the ISTE standards and the K-12 disciplines and the ALA standards. So you're kind of compensating for the semantic differences where you really couldn't search for before. And you can find connections that you wouldn't have been able to find just through a regular scan. And I think that's a brilliant use. And you probably could have Notebook LM or Perplexity create new charts for you that you might share with the teachers. And that's really brilliant. Steve, congratulations on your new publication. Yay. And speaking of Steve, I kept thinking about what a gift this is, Kristina, to library school students and my students. I've been recommending it to field experience students, and I think it's just a real gift to them. So they start with this in their field experience, whether they start in spring or fall, and it is a lifesaver, really. But so I was thinking about different ways you might use some of the resources here as well. So one of the things I've been thinking about is your questions to ask your students. And I thought these 20 questions, not just casually ask your students, but really think about this as a focus group activity where you can put it into Notebook LM, the responses, get a transcript of the YouTube video, and analyze this, code it, and be able to use it as evidence so that you can show your principal that of these students, all of these were talking about how important this was to them, this thing that my new elementary librarian, Kristina, Ms. Holzweiss, has shown to me. But that kind of evidence, not just asking them and having a casual conversation, but having the students really be serious about thinking about research. And research is not just using your databases, it is getting engaged with users and thinking about your users. And just last thing I want to say, speaking about users, the tip that I gave had to do with Will Guidera's um, um, in unreasonable hospitality. I like the idea of putting these words that don't generally go together, an adjective and a noun, and just combining them. And I think Steve was maybe with me when we talked about radical librarianship. What does radical collection development look like? What does radical kindness look like? All of those things. But the idea of radical hospitality is really thinking outside the box, getting out of your rut, and thinking, what can you do for your users that your users need that you never thought about before because you've been going about your work in a day-to-day way? One of the examples that Guidera uses is that people are sitting in his restaurant, 11 Park, and he's hearing them talk about, I think they were a family of German tourists, and they were talking about, this is the dream restaurant. I wanted to go here. We got our reservations early. But too bad we're here now and we'll never get that New York City hot dog in the hot dog from the hot dog vendor in Central Park. And so he sends the folks out, some of his people out, gets a hot dog, the chef plates it and elegantly presents it. Those people may have really loved their experience at 11 Park, but they'll never forget that hot dog. That somebody absolutely listened to them and made it even more special because the service was personalized and unexpected and perhaps unreasonable, which is what we have the power to do every day in our programs. And so this is a tool for us to be thinking about unreasonable expectations, and we can jot these down in the boxes every single day because we're not, it's like a drippy faucet. We're not always collecting that wonderful evidence. And this is an evidence container. So thank you, Kristina.
Well, thank you for that book recommendation because I'm looking at it right now in your tip. I do have another book about hospitality and marketing, but it's not that one. So I'm adding that to my to be read list.
Yeah, I
So
think you need to look outside libraries a lot and kind of make these connections.
I love reading business books and business
Mhm.
psychology books. So that's on my to be read list. And I did realize in the back, I did start my tips, my ideas for 2026. I will add your ideas today, but I did start it already. As soon as one comes out, even before it comes out, I'm already thinking of the new one. Um,
I'd love to hear about your reflections and your transition. So keep a journal for us so we understand what's going on.
I think I'm not a, I'll be
Blog.
honest, I took a creative writing class, and for me to write a journal, I think too quickly, then I can
Yeah,
write.
no, I understand.
But I think this planner is going to be my journal. I think, and I'll document it and things like that. Yeah, this will be really filled and abused and used this year.
I'm
But yes,
sure.
I love that idea. I love that idea. And I think that's what I'm trying to start a library with my theme, with these, I'm making all the teachers these little pens with flowers. I know it seems like a
See,
little thing,
there's no reason
but
to be ordinary, is there?
right. Right. And I think your inspiration on that one, I think you're right. Because the people are going to remember how they feel when they come to our library and
Yeah.
how they feel when someone does something for them. They
I
might
think that's a
remember
Maya
all
Angelou
this.
quote.
Exactly. They remember how you feel,
How'd you made them feel?
how you make them feel.
Hmm.
Exactly. You can't deny a library makes people feel good. Can't.
Hope so.
Hope so. Yes. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. We are nearing the hour. I don't know if there's anyone else. I do see Jen Baldwin. I don't know if she wants me to call her out, but I do see my dear friend. I don't know if Jen wants to come out and speak. I actually was able, I see her talking. I don't hear her, but I see her talking. But I was able to go, I will tell you, I was able to go to the Missouri conference this year in April. And Jen and I became friends through Donors Choose. And she invited me to be a keynote. I actually met Michael, so that was pretty amazing. But I have to say that if you haven't gone to the Missouri Library Conference, you need to go because those are some of the most amazing people I have ever met in the library world. And you need to go to the conference in October because it will be in Missouri, and they put on a wonderful conference in the spring, and I can't imagine it being any less. The hospitality, the thoughtfulness that I felt being there has really fueled me this year. So if you want to go to a feel-good conference, you need to go to Missouri. I don't know, Jen, if you're able to talk, if you're
Yeah,
unmuted.
I finally got
Yay!
unmuted. Unfortunately, I had to use
Yay!
my phone, so I apologize. And thank you so much for recognizing how wonderful Missouri and Mazel is, because it is very special. And we would love to have everybody join us at AASL in October. So feel free to come and join, and come a little bit early or stay a little bit late and enjoy what Missouri has to offer you in St. Louis, because it's a pretty phenomenal town. So thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this year's planner. 17 years of my teaching experience and library experience was actually in a K-12 environment. So I did a STEAM tip and just was trying to integrate ways. I had some math teachers complain to me about, or not complain, but I wanted to collaborate with them a little bit more. So my tip was to use some of the STEM supplies that you have and create a budget, and you make the students stick to the budget. And I was able to adapt that from my first graders doing dollars at a time all the way down to my sixth graders and fifth graders that were doing more specific things where they could even sell back some of their items, so we could recycle. So that was my tip. I didn't want to talk a whole lot because I know it is right after 12 o'clock. So it's been great to learn everybody else's tips and connect to people. So I appreciate
Uh,
being part of
I
it.
I love your tip, Jen, because I always say to think out of a box. We need a box.
Mhm.
And kids need to know that supplies are not unlimited, and we do need to stick to budgets. And as librarians, we know we always have to stick to budgets. And I think this is a real world application. Um, I'm going to see if I could use again. I left the middle school library 7 years ago. I didn't really have to do this in the high school so much, but I anticipate I'm going to really need this tip in elementary school. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
With
So,
everything that you do and the things that we have to
and I
offer,
do.
just even paper. It was one of those things that the kids could sell back half a sheet of paper and make money back. So it made them conscientious of everything that they were using as well to create that.
I've never thought about the sellback, which I find really interesting. And I also think maybe like that barter system, maybe even having groups pool their resources together
Mhm.
and then sell back what they need to and things like that. But I like that. It's very handy, it's very practical, it's hands-on, and it's a great classroom management tool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Love
So
it. So another plug, you need to go to ASL in Missouri. They're fabulous. And Jen, let's celebrate Jen, your new role.
president of Missouri, so of Mazel. So I will get to speak in front of everybody. I apologize in advance for any projectile vomiting that might happen on stage. So,
Jen is amazing. Jen is amazing. I've heard you
well, right
speak.
back at you, friend.
I've heard you speak. So we are going to go to Heidi, my mentor, my friend, my confidant at Demco. We have some fabulous prizes and a big reveal. So Heidi, can we take it away?
What I thought we'd do is first go through all the prizes that we have. I did this in the beginning, but not everybody was on. So we're going to spin the wheel for all the registrants. We had about 80 registrants today. A lot are going to listen to recording because, like Christina said, a lot of you are already back in school. So a lot couldn't make it because they are working diligently with their students. So what we're going to be giving away is a set of the Books Give You Wings wall decal, our brand new graphic book truck panel, which again speaks to all the important things you do in the library and what you bring to your schools. One of our new mini stick-togethers. So these are about half the size. There's only 1,500 versus 3,000 stickers to these, so they can be completed quicker than what a typical stick-together can be completed. And one of our new Made You Look easels, this one for graphic novels. So I am going to bring up the wheel now.
When Heidi first showed me the book truck sign with the cover, I squealed. I was so excited because not only can you walk around with your planner that shows how awesome you are, now you can push your books around on a cart with a sign that says how awesome you are.
You can even bump into people with your book cart and then see
Exactly.
how awesome you are. All right, the first thing we will draw for are the Books Give You Wings decal. And that will go to Jennifer Thrift, who is one.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
Next, we'll draw for the graphic book truck panel.
Oh, yes. Who's gonna get this? The graphic book truck panel. Again, it's the panel, not the truck. The panel goes right on your truck. It fits so nicely.
Amy Jensen.
Amy, congratulations. You're basically gonna have one of the first ones
Yes,
because it's
these
not
are,
even on the website yet.
nope, these are right in the middle of production. So we literally are printing the prototypes this week. And if all goes well, then we'll start printing them next week. So they are very new. All right, next we have the stick together.
Oh, Deb. Deb loves Stick Together, I will say. She is, yeah, she loves Stick Together. So, Deb, you're getting a mini Stick Together for your kiddos. Katie says, how soon can we order the book truck panel? Yeah,
Um, I'm venturing a guess of 2 weeks ish.
ish, ish.
And the Made You Look easel.
I love those because they take apart and they fold and you can store them really well, easily. Oh,
Diana
Diana
Lespina.
Lespina. Diana, that's a friend of mine also. Well, you're all friends of mine, but I live near Diana, so I'm very excited.
All right, that's the prizes. And again, I want to thank everybody that not only participates in the planner, but also participates in this whole community. That this more than anything I've ever done in my career working for both Highsmith and Demco and working with libraries. This really truly speaks to how you all work together, all of the wonderful things that you do within your schools. And it's been such a journey with Kristina from the very beginning and how much she's really taken this tool and made it be what all of you want and need it to be with all of your input and listening to the first year it was listening to the good and the bad and figuring out what works well from my standpoint what not to ever do with the cover again, which is not to laminate it, and it fell apart and there was things that we learned, but it's been a wonderful journey working with all of you that have participated and just watching the community work together and even the Facebook group, just all of the things that come out of it, the good ideas that you share with each other. It's been really rewarding. So it's been great.
Yeah, it has been great. I will say again, the team at Demco and Heidi, when I first brought this idea, uh, Heidi is a really great brainstormer and a really great listener. And I think everyone needs someone like that in your lives. And you don't need to be, it doesn't need to be a librarian. It could be just anyone who can listen and could take your vision and your dreams and ideas and kind of like give you some guidance and some practical ways of getting where you want to be. Everyone needs someone like that in their life. And Heidi, you are mine.
Thank you. You've listened a lot to me as well, so I appreciate that.
And she makes the best cookies. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We are going to close out. I want to thank every one of you. I will see you on social media. If not in real life, I will see you again. I will see you virtually. I miss you all. I want to go to another conference soon. Hopefully, I will get to Missouri, Jen. But if I don't get there, I will be with you in spirit. And party on without me if I'm not there. But you need to get to Missouri. They are some of the best people there, and you need to come together. You need to physically be together. There's strength in numbers, and you need to go to conferences. They are the best. They feed my soul. So thank you again, everyone. If you want to take off your mics, if you want to do a group shot, Heidi, since you're doing this, maybe we could do, are you able to do a group shot with everybody? Um, yeah, if you want to be on the group shot, you can put your camera on. If you don't, that's okay too. We respect your privacy, but let's all see if we can get a group shot. I'll hold my planner up. I've got my planner, so I'll hold it up.
All right. Is everybody ready? Count of three. 1, 2, 3. Nice.
Thank you so much. Being a librarian is the best decision well, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So I'm thankful. All right, have a great school year, everyone. Love you all.
Thank you all.